All right, folks, let's get into some NFL. Of course, the big trade. Stephon Diggs to the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans traded a second round pick. Correct me if I'm wrong, champ, in next year's draft. Not this year's, next year's
Yes, sir.
draft. And the Texans, they get a fifth round pick, a
This
sixth
year,
round pick,
next year.
and Stephon Diggs. This is huge for the Houston Texans. I think this will elevate the AFC Championship expectations. Can they compete for a Super Bowl? Chip and I, we had this conversation, I believe, Tuesday or Wednesday on the Sports PSP podcast. Make sure you like and subscribe. Champ made some very valid points. This is his third team with a Pro Bowl quarterback. And again, hey, I mentioned Trayvon Diggs, the brother of Stephon Diggs, star player of the Dallas Cowboys. He talked about how Stephon Diggs was feeling, and if it's coming from the brother of Stephon Diggs, then Stephon, people are going to assume it's coming from you. Houston clearly won this trade. They clearly learned from their past regime because idiotically they gave up DeAndre Hopkins, as I said, for a bag of Chips Ahoy and a glass of milk, or a
I
ham
take
sandwich and a bag
All
of
right. Jeez.
Doritos.
I take some Chips Ahoy.
I
I
like
got some
Oreos,
Oreos
but
right now. I gotta.
yeah, but clearly this is huge for Houston Texans. They've won the offseason. Daniel Hunter, the trade for Joe Mixon, now Stephon Diggs. They've added depth to the O line. CJ Stroud is definitely in the conversation for the MVP after coming off a great year, in which, had it not been for injury, he probably would have won it, considering how mid or bad the quarterback play was last year. And after back to back great victories against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and let's not forget the Cincinnati Bengals, in which the Bengals were competitive at Joe Burrow's home. When I look at the Texans, man, they are a team in the rise to come. DeMeco Ryans has been tremendous. Grant, you even tried to make an argument for him as coach of the year. They came off a dominant victory against the Cleveland Browns, lost in the divisional round to, of course, the Baltimore Ravens. They are loaded. I think they're the team to come in the AFC in the future. And I think it's going to be harder for Kansas City because I don't want to talk about the Rashee Rice situation. That's a story for another day. They just traded L'Jarius Sneed. So you got to deal with not only Stephon Diggs, but you have to deal with Tank Dell, who's coming back, and shout out to our man Trent. He's been talking about Tank Dell for so long, and as well as Sports Talk as well. Sports
Yes.
Talk is a fan of Tank Dell, and of course Nico Collins. Even though I love me some Oklahoma, he went to Michigan. Shout out to Michigan, and of course Joe Mixon from my school OU. Can't forget
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, the helmet.
They got Dalton Schultz, so they're loaded. So I think Houston could be the team that can compete and challenge the Kansas City Chiefs. I think this is also going to be great because another quarterback rivalry with Mahomes versus CJ Stroud. As for Buffalo, forget Super Bowl window. That door has been officially closed. You're even wondering, can they win the division? Because look, Luis, I know you're not the biggest fan of Tua. You like Tua, you respect Tua. I mean, you gotta at least give them that. They
Something like
should
that.
compete in the AFC East unless Aaron Rodgers stays healthy. Assuming if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, because the Jets they've made some moves. The Hassan
Yeah.
Reddick trade, they signed Tyron Smith.
Yes.
Okay, they have some pieces to help out with this team. It seems like Zach Wilson is not the answer. They added Mike Williams, so I don't know about the Buffalo Bills. At best case, they should probably finish third. And look, Sean McDermott, he's going to be out the door. Ken Dorsey is gone. They're about to clean house if I'm Buffalo. And when I look at it from this standpoint, and Champ mentioned this, Minnesota or San Francisco or any other team that you're looking for a quarterback, would you consider Josh Allen? Hey, I'll give a couple of first rounds, maybe a third round or something for Josh Allen. He's still
Send him
one of
to
the top
Atlanta.
three.
Send him to Atlanta. Go ahead.
He already got Kirk Cousins.
I already got Kirk Cousins. I have to deal with that quarter. I got to deal with him as my quarterback for at least the first 2 years. But PSP, let PSP finish.
But that's my thought. But I think this is huge for Houston. They won the trade. As for Buffalo, what's next for Josh Allen? And what's next for you going forward? They're gonna have to clean up house. Sean McDermott's gonna be out the door. The only thing that they have looking forward to is the tight end Kincaid and James Cook. And James Cook actually shows you how valuable he was to the team if you incorporate the run more. And that was another thing that helped Josh Allen with turnovers. Last year, he was second in the NFL in interceptions behind Sam Howell. So I think they're going to have to trade Josh Allen. That's what I think. I think that's what they're going to have to do. Whoever wants to go first, what's y'all thoughts about the Stephon Diggs trade?
I mean, I'll go first. I'm happy. I'm gonna be on. When this move happened, I thought this was a troll tweet. Like, I didn't think it was real. This is a move I think we should have all known that was coming. Stephon and Josh Allen's relationship, as we can tell, has fallen apart the last few years, and I think it finally hit a boiling point where he wanted to leave. I'm really hoping this move works out. Because now that the fact that your offense, like PSP, like you said, now that you have not only a quarterback in CJ Stroud who shocked everyone last season, now you're putting Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, and Dalton Schultz in that offense. That's not just – and Joe Mixon, excuse me. That's not just scary. That's freaking terrifying. And honestly, they're winning the AFC South. There's no other reason right now. They have a offense and they have an amazing pass rusher on that defense of Will Anderson Jr. There's no excuse for that team to not win the division. They have the team necessary. And just the fact that this move has happened now, you got to understand. I honestly feel like this team can make a Super Bowl run. If they play their cards right, they have an opportunity to win a Super Bowl. I know that sounds bold to say. I feel like they could have that chance to make that move happen. But I think, for Buffalo, it's now the biggest question I was having on Players' Choice was we thought that they needed to go into the draft and get a wide receiver too if Stephon was still there. Now you got to find somebody to be your wide receiver one now, which is now going to be even a tougher pill to swallow because that's a whole other mountain you have to climb. And I think with Buffalo as well, with Josh Allen, a lot of people have been trying to make this argument that Stephon Diggs made Josh Allen and Josh Allen wouldn't be the player that he is without Stephon. Do I believe that personally? No. But I feel like this next year is going to be a proving ground for him, for Josh Allen, because I think now people are going to have to see, can he get the job done without a guy like Stephon Diggs as his wide receiver? I think that's going to be a very interesting challenge, and I think that's going to make it very exciting for Buffalo, but I think that just makes it a lot harder for them. I feel like it's just going to make it a lot harder for them because it's just – I just feel like now Buffalo are in a situation where they got to find better receivers, and if they're going to have dudes, they're going to help Josh Allen, because if they can't, it's going to be a harder season for them. I honestly now have Buffalo finishing third in the division. I don't think they're going to be able to do anything. And it's unfortunate because I think Buffalo had a talented team, but now I think losing that key piece of Stephon is just going to be a hard mountain to find, a hard piece to fill for the Bills. But
all right. Casual, you want to ask a question? Make it quick because we heading into
Yeah,
the NFL.
I know. Yeah, I know y'all on time constraints. No, so being here in Houston, now having Stephon Diggs as a Texan, I wanted to ask the panel: is this is this going to be a season that is like heavily I won't say scrutinized, but is this going to be a season that CJ Stroud is going to be under the microscope as far as how far he can take the Texans? Because I know last year it was sort of like a Cinderella story. Nobody really expected the Texans to be as good as they were. And to go as far as they did, I think they had us losing in the wild card. And so I just want to ask you guys: is this
Yes.
season the season of expectations for CJ Stroud?
He's either got to win the Super Bowl or he's gonna have the biggest sophomore slump of all time. I don't think there's an in between. I just
Yeah,
think
I think it's going to be a huge year, casual. I don't have them winning the Super Bowl because as long as Patrick Mahomes is still there and Andy Reid,
As long as he's
regardless of the
still alive.
circumstances, I mean, you don't bet against him. I think with CJ Stroud, I definitely think he's going to take a next step up in terms of his game. Like I've said before, man, and I've defended CJ the same way I will continuously defend Caleb Williams. You know, last year CJ Stroud received a lot of flack for the Wonderlic score. It was like the worst Wonderlic score. I don't care. At the end of the day, can you process information? Can you read defenses? Are you mobile, or are you athletic enough? Casual. If you want to talk about CJ Stroud, go talk to Champ. Go talk to him how that dude put him on 3 heart attacks in that semi-round game against his Georgia Bulldogs. 3. He will
3.
literally tell you to his face, to your face, he had 3 heart attacks, man. I think the Houston Texans. I look at this as C.J. Stroud. I'm sorry, Stephon Diggs, not C.J. Stroud's fault, because Stephon Diggs, you've been on 3 teams with 3 Pro Bowl quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins. I don't think Kirk Cousins is the greatest quarterback in the world. I would know because he used to play for my Washington Commanders. But he's a good enough quarterback. When healthy, I think he's a top 10 quarterback. This is as far as Kirk Cousins can go. Okay, so you get traded to Buffalo. You do a damn good job with Josh Allen. And by the way, Josh Allen's going to have a lot to prove because now without Stephon Diggs, how's he going to handle? Because the first 2 years without Stephon Diggs, how good was he as a passer? Not so much. But you definitely helped Josh Allen. There were reports about you and Josh Allen getting together. And when your brother is going on the air and saying these things about you not gelling with Josh Allen, then people are going to assume it's coming from you. As with CJ Stroud, at some point in time, we have to look at Stephon Diggs and say, bro, you've been on 3 teams. You've been to 2 conference championship games, one in Minnesota, one in Buffalo. You have a chance of getting to a conference championship game, maybe a Super Bowl in Houston. And you are with a young quarterback that's coming off a great rookie year. I said CJ Stroud was going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. If you ruin this, I don't know what more could you possibly ask if you're Stephon Diggs. You can't ask for more opportunities, man. You can't ask for anything better. To be with this young team in Houston, remember, this team came in 2002. Correct me if I'm wrong, champ. 2002.
Yeah, it's 2002.
Yeah, 2002. With that young roster, they have moved on from the Deshaun Watson era, from the Bill O'Brien era. They're in a new era with C.J. Stroud, Bill O'Brien. This fan base is loaded. Casual, you from H-Town, right? They are excited, man.
Yep.
These Texans fans, they ain't nothing to play with. They ain't nothing to joke about. They are electric. And I agree with Champ. For them to win a city in Houston, in H-Town, that's like the Southwest version of Atlanta. I mean, Houston, look, Atlanta, you got Magic City. You got a lot of other great places to go to in the ATL. But Houston, to win it there?
Hey, KOD, Club Dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Atlanta got Magic City, and Houston got Club Dreams.
I'll say this.
Am I lying?
No, you're not wrong.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying. No, I appreciate it. 2 things before I leave. Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, and Roman Reigns and Jey Uso carried the pandemic. And whatever OG says, I agree. All right, y'all.
Take it easy.
All right,
take it easy, man. No,
I'll get you on the rinse.
Yeah.
All I'll say this is with the Houston Texans, if you're going to have a squad that you built up like this, you have no excuse to be able to put up some competition. I just think a lot of the narrative around Houston now is I feel like they have to go out there and prove that they can still continue at the pace they were. Because I think if now you have Houston, like PSP, you said it. They've won the offseason. There's like no other team that completely because you look at the offense they had last year and what they have now, it's like a completely different squad. And I think this team now has more of a challenge to succeed because now I feel like now they have to show that they can still maintain the dominance that they had last season and come into this season. But I just think it's exciting to see because I think Houston the Texans have been a team that for years have struggled to like dominate and find the right system. And for once, it's kind of like you now see that they're finally starting to put the pieces together. And I feel like looking at where the future of Houston could be, it just looks like there's nowhere else to go but up. But with Stephon Diggs, I feel like you have to make it work. You can't, if it doesn't work here, it's probably never going to work anywhere else. If this is for me, this is kind of his last shot to get the ring because I don't think he can make another excuse if he doesn't win it in Houston with the team he has. Because when you were in Buffalo, you had the weapons, it had the roster, and you couldn't make it out of the playoffs, and you couldn't make it past Mahomes. You're still in the AFC, and Mahomes still exists. But now you have to prove it now with this team. Because if you can't prove it here, you're not going to feel like you're not going to be able to prove it anywhere else. And I don't think anyone else is going to want you. But that's all I got to say about
that. Whoever wants to go, champ, Luis.
Okay. Like I said, and I'm not going to keep, I don't want to keep recycling the same thing. They have the chance to be, this team has the chance to be just as big, if not bigger, than Warren Moon and that run and shoot offense back in the 90s. They have a chance to do something that, even if they make it to the AFC Championship, that's something that Warren Moon team could never do. It's something that team could never do. I mean, all the talent on that team, I think at one point they had 13 Pro Bowlers on that team, and they never made it to an AFC Championship. They never could get past the Kansas City Chiefs with Joe Montana. They never did get past Buffalo. So they have a chance in order to do something for that city that hasn't been done. Plus, the buzz is around the city, man. I mean, like I said, we all seen Clutch City with Akeem Olajuwon back-to-back. We saw them win 2 out of 3 World Series with the Houston Astros. But I believe the one thing that the city of Houston has been craving is a Super Bowl. And if you can imagine with some of the star power that they have in the city of Houston, Bun B, Trader Truth, you name the star. You name the star.
Mike Jones.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah. You name, yes. Yes, indeed, man. Forgot about Mike Jones. Chameleonaire. I mean, Paul Wall, man, you name it. Like I said, it's like Atlanta, but on steroids. I mean, even the great Scarface, man, even Scarface, Jay Prince, Willie D. If you can, like I said, and that's where some of the Southern origins from hip hop come from too, but that's another story for another day. If you can win a Super Bowl in Texas, where football is king, like I said, there's over $5 million, there's over $10 million stadiums at a high school level in the state of Texas. So if you win a Super Bowl in a city not only dominated by hip hop like Houston, but also in a city that has a rich history of football, especially with the University of Houston, who was a cornerstone, who quite frankly helped start up the run and shoot offense down there with Jack Pardee. Hey, that would be something very, very special. And quite frankly, I want to see CJ Stroud not only win the MVP, but I would love to see a passing of the torch game in the AFC Championship between him and Mahomes.
Absolutely. Luis, man.
it's never nice to prey on another man's downfall. But Josh Allen, I hate you. Thank God, yo. Oh my, I was getting
You're
tired of that
disgusting.
duo, man. Oh my God. I'm getting tired of that duo, man. I didn't care who left. Diggs left, Allen left. I just wanted one of them
You sound
gone.
like the Grinch who stole Christmas.
Bro, thank God, man. It's about time, bro. Jeez. As for Stroud, I mean, you guys said everything. I just want to see Stroud win the Super Bowl just to see how Cowboys fans are going to react. That's all. I just want to see because you know I think it'll be funny, and I think people would side eye Dak so hard, and I just want to see what would happen. Would Texas explode? Who knows? But I want to see it.
Houston, Texas winning the Super Bowl before Dallas.
I mean,
Hey,
hey,
listen,
bro,
we seen the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the Super Bowl.
No, I'm just saying this is more salt in the wound.
Oh yeah, more salt in the wound. Oh yeah,
Tampa
no
really
question.
did. Yeah, Tampa really did.
Especially with this happening. I don't mean to interrupt. I apologize, guys.
No, you good.
Especially with the Dallas mayor coming out with some of the comments that he made about the Kansas City Chiefs possibly making a return to Dallas. Because y'all remember the city taxes that are used to renovate stadiums in the city has been revoked by the voters in Kansas City.
Right.
So, and if you know football like I know it, like I'm pretty sure all of you do, remember it wasn't always the Kansas City Chiefs. They were the Dallas Texans at first. So the mayor of Dallas has been campaigning for the Kansas City Chiefs to make a return to Dallas. And
he's been pushing it for a while, hasn't he? Because I could have sworn he was trying to do that same thing. Sorry for interrupting. I was just curious because I could have sworn he was trying to push for this a long time ago, and it kind of died out. And now I feel like
yes, he did, and you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. And my thing is, for him to be the Dallas mayor, number one, because people don't understand this. The Dallas Cowboys was brought to Dallas in order to compete with the Dallas Texans.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and that is the why.
Good.
Yeah, but
and good, especially when you're America's team.
Yeah, and that don't grow, and that doesn't vote good for you. And as they say in the Wild Wild West, they are in the West. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't think that town is big enough for the Dallas Chiefs if they end up going there, and the Dallas Cowboys. And hey, especially, and I'm thinking that the mayor of Dallas is kind of like putting the heat on Jerry Jones to say, look, you see what these guys over here doing. You see what Houston's doing. You see what everybody else doing. And you haven't done a thing over the course of the offseason in order to get better.
Jerry don't care, champ. I told you before. Jerry,
I got my beef with Jerry Jones. But
until Jerry Jones leaves the Dallas Cowboys, this is where they are. They ain't winning shit. Why do you think he brought in Mike McCarthy? A more than adequate replacement for Jason Garrett. He brought him over to the crib for beer and nachos. Clap. What he does best, clap. That's all he does. Mike McCarthy's just a yes man. Goes to the house, have beer and nachos. And the other reason why it sells, champ, Patrick Mahomes is a native of Texas. Yeah. To have the Texas kid play for Texas and to win a championship. Can you imagine how much attention that would give? And we all know Texas. If there's one state they eat, breathe, and sleep football, it's Texas. That state. Pee Wee, Pop Warner, high school, college, whatever you name it.